No escape. Busted. Here comes the catch.
The Temple of Wisdom.
A bitter pill to swallow, taking a turn for the better. Mind the side effects.
So that was Constellation 6 Baizhu. I'm gonna break down the secret as to why DPS Constellation 6 Baizhu is truly one of the most fun and unique characters to play. Hiyo, I'm Leotster, a husbando and male-only enthusiast of Genshin Impact, and in this video I will break down what makes Baizhu's Constellation 6 absolutely nuts and turns him into a HARMACIST. I will also show some additional DPS Baizhu damage techniques and a dual clear of Spiral Abyss using Baizhu on both halves of floor 12 and in floor 11. Spoiler alert, it will be using this team I have crafted here. This is my Baizhu. My Baizhu build for most of this video is going to be using 4-piece Deepwood. There is kind of a reason for it, you can see how cracked it is. And also the reason for it is because with 4-piece Emblem, for example, I would only gain burst damage and lose a lot of my other damage, which I run Baizhu on field, so why would I do that? I will be showing off Emblem 4-piece in this video though, just as a little demonstration. They're not bad. I got a good feather recently. Now for the teammates, my Raiden Shogun has been reduced to a Hyperbloom buffer with Moon Piercer Refinement 5. Yes, who has even heard of this weapon? She's also borrowing my Kuki Shinobu's 4-piece Tenacity build, and is probably my most insanely built buffer for this Baizhu team, so props to Raiden Shogun for being a shell of her former self. Not funny. Next is my Yelan, who is decked with Elegy for the nice team buff, and stacked with energy recharge up the butt while using 4-piece Noblesse. Finally, my Nahida, who does not deal damage, see here, and is solely built for Elemental Mastery buff, having over 1000 for Dendra Resonance, and is using Evenstar Refinement 5. Thank you, Weapon Banner. And yes, she is using 4-piece Deepwood, which I know does not stack, but it does come in handy when Baizhu's abilities does not hit a wide array of enemies. Eventually, I could run 4-piece Gilded Dreams on Baizhu, but I'm not taking my Alhaitham set, I'm sorry. Alright, now that the house cleaning is out of the way, I will first mention that Baizhu becomes incredibly flexible even at Constellation 2, due to the sheer amount of healing happening with Constellation 1 and 2. And, separately, here's how Constellation 2 and Constellation 6 work. Though unfortunately, I lost my previous footage due to bitrate problems, so pretend the Constellation 6 isn't activating. I will gush and talk about how Constellation 6 synergizes beautifully with the rest of his kit, so save that for later. So for Constellation 2, it summons a mini elemental skill sprite that attacks an enemy when a character is dealing damage to an enemy. This can be anything that deals damage: attacks, burst, and skills. Not only does this strike deal quite a lot of damage, but it also heals all allies for a small portion of that original elemental skill. Alongside his Constellation 1 granting another charge, he heals a lot at Constellation 2. More than enough, so I would even recommend building him for more spread reaction damage at Constellation 2, with Elemental Mastery on at least one piece, and your choice of either Dendro damage or crit for the other artifacts, preferably crit rate, and then HP percent on the other slot, just so that you can still have that buff for your team. You can attempt DPS Baizhu at C2 if you don't want to go for a hybrid build, but I will say about 50% of his power is locked behind Constellation 6. I know that sounds incredible for such a short and brief description that seems straightforward, but there's a lot of hidden factors to consider. So now, speaking of Constellation 6, let's talk about the neat hidden secrets that his Constellation 6 does to make him a truly disgusting HARMACIST. And then I will talk about rotational techniques. His Constellation 6 not only allows him to generate seamless shields with a skill or Constellation 2 trigger, but it also causes the shields to overlap and shatter the previous shield, firing off 2 to 3 quick Dendro sprites, which all have no internal cooldown, separate ones, and the shields heal you. This wild effect can also stack with Baizhu's elemental burst, which is why you see so many machine gun numbers happening all at once. This is why this constellation tricks you in being so brief. It seems bad and short because you're building Baizhu wrong. You need to build him DPS. Because look here, I've been damaged a lot and I'm on my DPS build, and whoop, I'm healed by a total of 4 healing abilities throughout a short period. Constellation 1 with its double charge, Constellation 2, Constellation 6's Seamless Shield, and the Burst Seamless Shield. It's insane. He does not need any HP. His Ascension passives with HP and HP substats take care of everything. It's actually nuts. Alright, and finally, before we move on, I will talk about my normal charge attack canceling tech when on field as Baizhu. This is just something to note in general so that you can apply more Dendro more often. When I remember it, I like using normal attack 3, then charge attack for the most AoE option, but normal attack 2 then charged is faster and it works as well. Also, look how Baizhu C6 doesn't even need energy. As long as you recognize his C2 triggers his C6 and then space out your elemental skills on top of that, he just deals a lot of consistent damage, and you can still front load it if you want to stack all the shields and break them, so it's nuts. I forgot to mention some important testings and why this team is calculated not only to be the best overall DPS team, but the best team for buffing Baizhu on field as well. I tried Bennett, but if I were to use Bennett and Nahida, it's too much burning, and I would lose Nahida's very valuable elemental mastery buff if I took her out, so Bennett was not the choice. Sorry, buddy. Then I tried with Kujo Sara, and she can work, but just like Bennett, I noticed something. That Baiju's burst does not snapshot. He has to obtain the on-field buffs or any AoE buffs in order for it to work, and it lasts for as long as the duration. So you won't be able to get the full buffed burst during the full duration of the burst, which sucks, but it means you have to play him on field for this DPS style, which is interesting. So this is the best team I've found overall. That's just as of Genshin 3.6, of course. So, with all that, here is the rotation in its lightning fast glory. Insane, right? Some of my reactions to this were priceless. Just, I cannot believe how much damage he does. He turns into a machine gun. Okay, let's get to the Spiral Abyss. And this is the ugliest one yet. I'll show off Baizhu in floor 11 against the annoyances that are in that chamber, especially the Serpent Knights, so only the first half. But then I will show both halves of floor 12. He can do both. It is just more dicey during the second half, and he's better suited for the first half anyway. By dicey, I mean that there's a lot of enemies who can one-shot him if not careful, because he's very squishy in this DPS form. Anyway, I'll stop talking now. Enjoy this full compilation, where I choose 0 damage cards and only defensive cards all throughout. The HP ones don't really do anything anyway. Enjoy.
Mind the side effect.
Share my knowledge.
There is no escape.
A bitter pill to swallow. Seems like an emergency.
Make yourselves at home.
Gotcha. stuff. Unfilled.
Remember, health comes first.
The doctor will see you.
Gotcha. Here comes the cash.
I see everything. The Temple of Wisdom.
Illusion shattered.
Taking a turn for the better. Mind the side effects.
Hey! Sharing my knowledge.
Busted. These are about to get dicey. There is no escape.
Remember, health comes first. A bitter pill to swallow. Mind the side effects. A bitter pill to swallow.
Gotcha. Game's up. Fun's over.
Everyone hold hands. Make yourselves at home.
Mind the side effects. Taking a turn.
The doctor will see. Make yourselves at home.
Here comes the cash. Shine down.
Mind the side effects. Taking a turn for the better. A bitter pill to swallow. Mind the side effects.
Gotcha. Game's up. Fun's over. There is no escape.
A bitter pill to swallow. Remember, health comes first.
The doctor will see you. Everyone hold hands. Sharing my knowledge.
Shine down. Quietly now. Here comes the cash.
A bitter pill.
The doctor will see you.
Taking a turn for the better.
Busted.
Commit it to memory. Make yourselves at home.
A bitter pill to swallow. A bitter pill.
Hey! The Temple of Wisdom.
Quietly now. These are about to get dicey. Illusion shattered.
Seems like an emergency.
The doctor will see you.
Mind the side effects.
Gotcha. Here comes the cash.
Everyone hold hands. Sharing my knowledge. The doctor will see you.
Taking a turn for the better. A bitter pill to swallow.
Busted. These are about to get dicey.
I see everything. Make yourselves at home.
Mind the side effects. Seems like an emergency. A bitter pill to swallow.
There is no escape.
The Temple of Wisdom. Yeah, grow.
Mind the side effects.
The doctor will see you. Sharing my knowledge.
Illusion shattered.
A bitter pill Mind the side effects. Remember, health comes first. A bitter pill to swallow.
There is no escape.
Just wait for the Temple of Wisdom.
Quietly now. Here comes the catch.
Mind the side effects. A bitter pill to swallow.
Grow.
Gotcha. These are about to get dicey. There is no escape.
A bitter pill to swallow.
Temple of Wisdom.
Remember, health comes first. A bitter pill to swallow.
Busted.
Mind the side effects.
Rise the storm!
Make yourselves a home.
Quietly now. Where do you think you're going? Illusion shattered.
Taking a turn for the better. A bitter pill to swallow. Not my glasses.
Everyone hold hands. The Temple of Wisdom.
Here comes the catch. Shine down.
Seems like an emergency.
Busted.
I see everything.
Mind the side effect.
Sharing my knowledge. Projectors.
Taking a turn for the better.
Game's up. Fun's over.
A bitter pill to swallow.
A minute's memory. Make yourselves a home.
Quietly now. Here comes the catch. Shine down.
Seems like an emergency. Mind the side effects. A bitter pill to swallow. Mind the side effects.
I see everything. Sharing my knowledge.
There is no escape. Gotcha. Things are about to get dicey.
This is nothing.
Projectors.
Mind the side effects. Remember, health comes first. A bitter pill to swallow.
Everyone hold hands. Make yourselves a home.
Here comes the catch.
This is nothing.
Quietly now.
Seems like an emergency.
Projectors.
Game's up. Fun's over.
I see everything. Sharing my knowledge.
Remember, health comes first. Mind the side effects.